One in every 10 auto loans in America is actually behind on payments right now. And no, that's not fear, that's data. The warning signs, they're everywhere. Nobody's actually talking about it yet. Auto loan delinquencies are rising faster than any time since the Great Recession. Payments are late, repossessions are climbing, and credit scores are quietly collapsing behind the scenes. And you think that has absolutely nothing to do with our housing market right here in Michigan? You're wrong, because the same people falling behind on car loans today are the buyers and sellers and even homeowners who will shape our 2026 housing market next year. And the next housing crash might not actually start with mortgages, it might actually start with your car payment. I'm Brett Nibel from right here in the Motor City. And around here, when cars slow down, Michigan slows down. Jobs, bonuses, overtime, they all shrink when the auto plants start to go quiet. What's happening right now in the car market could ripple straight into our real estate market, and probably will. Not just here in Detroit, but across the entire country. Here's what's really going on. Auto loan balances in the United States are now over $1.6 trillion, an all-time high. The average new car payment, about $750. And for a used car, $550. 90-day delinquencies are at their highest point since 2009. And that's not just subprime borrowers, that's middle-class families. People with good jobs, decent credit, they're starting to miss their payments. Inflation, layoffs, and rising rates have kind of created this perfect storm. But let's connect the dots. First, a 30-day late on a car payment can drop your credit score from 60 to 100 points. And a repossession can drop it 120 to 160 points, and that scar lasts 7 years. One missed car payment can kill your home buying dreams for the next year or even more. If auto defaults rise through late 2025 like they are, guess what's going to happen in our spring and summer of 2025? Thousands of would-be home buyers will simply vanish. When credit scores fall below 620, they're out of what's called FHA range, and below 580, you can't even qualify for most traditional financing programs. That doesn't just mean fewer buyers, it means slower markets, fewer offers, longer days on market, and here's the twist that nobody's actually talking about. Many of these people struggling with their current auto payments, they actually already own houses. They're not losing their houses, not yet at least. They're cutting spending, skipping vacations, and holding tight because they really just can't afford to move. And that's how this crisis is going to completely flip. It doesn't cause this big flood of inventory to rush to the market. It actually causes a freeze. Homeowners will hunker down, listings will start to dry up, and that shortage just gets worse. The next credit crisis won't be a housing crash. It's going to choke the housing market and stop sales from happening. This one hits home for us here in Michigan, and because when the car market slows, the big three, they start to tighten their belts. GM, Ford, Stellantis, overtime will get cut, temporary workers released, layoffs, suppliers scale back. And when that happens, it doesn't just hit the car lots, it hits everything. Mortgages, property taxes, restaurants, local businesses. I've seen it before. The ripple starts on the factory floors and ends up on your neighborhood streets. America's housing market catches a cold when Detroit sneezes. Here's how to prepare. So what can you do right now to prepare yourself for 2026? First, guard your credit score like it's a job. Set up auto pay on those car loans and your credit cards. A single missed payment can set you back an entire year on your home buying journey. Second, pay down that revolving debt finally. Low credit utilization will be gold when lenders actually start tightening. And third, build your savings now. If layoffs hit, cash reserves will separate the stable from the vulnerable. And fourth, get pre-approved early. If you plan to buy in 2026, talk to a lender before the market actually starts to shift. Pre-qualification windows might shrink quickly, and you're going to need to stay on top of it. Here's the irony, guys. The people defaulting on car loans right now, they're mostly renters and first-time buyers, the ones we need most to keep our housing market actually moving. Meanwhile, the homeowners, the ones already in a house, they're hanging on tight. They're not selling, they won't be upgrading, they're just staying put. That's how this actually turns into an inventory freeze, not a housing market crash. Fewer people will be able to buy, fewer people actually want to sell, and prices won't necessarily fall, but supply will stay painfully low. 2026 won't be a housing crash, It'll be a housing chokehold. So what happens next? I believe 2026 will be the year the credit hangover hits our housing market. Auto defaults lead to, well, lower credit scores. Lower credit scores means fewer mortgage approvals. Fewer approvals mean fewer buyers, and fewer buyers means slower demand. And that slower demands means longer days on market. In Metro Detroit, where auto jobs absolutely feel everything, we're going to feel it first, I promise. So expect slower demand, more hesitation, and tighter inventory, but no housing market crash. A gridlock. And in that gridlock, strategy, timing, and credit health will decide who's actually going to win. 2026 isn't the crash everyone fears, it's the freeze that no one is actually ready for. That's why my next video actually breaks down my full 2026 housing predictions for Metro Detroit, where I think this will actually hit first and what opportunities might appear when others start to panic. So click that video next when that's released, and let's talk about what's really going to be coming to Michigan's housing market. Because if Detroit slows down, America might follow too. See you on the next one.